Good morning to everyone. It's another beautiful autumnal morning here at Bealtaine Cottage. I am looking forward to masses of work because I actually love to be outside working, so I've got many excuses now to be outside and trimming back, tidying up, crowning some of the trees, letting a bit more light in, and so on and so forth. But anyway, I was just looking back through book orders. Well, not looking back, but just checking up on my book orders because I have a few books to post on Monday from Drumshanbo Post Office. And I just want to have a big shout out now to Eric Osborne. You live in Florida, United States, and your emails have made me laugh out loud because it seems as though your mother is very much in the driving seat there regarding what she wants to do with her garden. Well, I think in America you call it your yard, but anyway, here we say garden. And this lovely little email, just in response to one of the wee messages that I send out, to say yes, thank you, I got your book order and it'll be posted ASAP or whatever. And so first of all, Eric, just before I read this out, it would be lovely to have your mother's name and then I can put her name on the books. Hello once again, says Eric. Mom has now informed me that you are her heart and soul as she's going outside and revitalising her backyard. We just put down fish emulsion fertiliser on her plants. She just wants to make sure which place to subscribe to get a limited edition card. I can't seem to find the right area. Thanks. I'm going to be doing a blog today or tomorrow, so I'm going to explain a lot of stuff, Eric, and for anyone else who's a wee bit unsure of how everything works on the website. I'm getting cards printed to say thank you to anyone who's subscribed on Patreon, and I think I've already confessed as to my sheer ignorance about how Patreon works. I'm only just picking it up in little dribs and drabs how it works, and I realise I should be putting videos especially up on Patreon. Patreon was suggested to me by some of you as a way of trying to ensure a little steady income here at Bealtaine Cottage. And I just initially thought, okay, so if I just make a Patreon account and then people can make a little monthly donation or whatever it is, however it works out, in response to me putting up all these videos. I think now it seems that I should put private videos up on Patreon. But anyway, please bear with me. I am sorting it out in dribs and drabs, as they say. I'm multitasking. And everything I do here is just a complete multitask fest. Fest short for festival, because I enjoy multitasking. But it means that I don't always get everything done, right there and then. So, with the Patreon account, the first thing I want to do is make sure that everybody who has subscribed to Patreon gets a special thank you card from me. So that's something I'll be doing, and I'll be posting those out next week. I'm going to write myself a little programme of work I have to do and complete. And this is where the laptop and the compatibility with the phone are going to start working for me. I'll be able to send myself notes and calendar dates and reminders and just to kind of stay on task with all the stuff that I have to do. So, hi Eric's mum. I am so glad that you, like many, many, many other women and men, are rediscovering Mother Earth. You are tapping into the energy which is just surging now at the moment. There's a surge of energy. The surge has been going on for all of the summer. And it is nothing less than magnificent and wonderful. And from what I'm picking up from reading all these emails and from visitors as well, what I'm picking up is this how could I call it? It's like people are being reborn, or it's like people are waking up, that eyes are opening and we're seeing things almost for the first time. We're seeing what is in fact the incredible truth and beauty of Mother Earth and all her life. And it's filling people with so much joy and so much energy and so much enthusiasm. And Eric, this is what I believe is happening with your mum. And I also think that that incredible energy is something that you enjoy as well, because it's like being revitalized, you know. I have a little email actually to read out, so I'm going to go back into the tunnel and sit down here with my phone. Oh, I must just show you how my little microgreens are coming on, and they fab. Look, all kinds of seeds put in there, and my veggies are coming on well also. So I'll just pop this camera down for a tick. Yes. Let me see now. No. Remember I said last week that I had some visitors. Tracy and Sean visited me on the Saturday, and they had come all the way from America. And then on the Sunday, just trying to think of the name of the person who came on the Sunday. Sorry, I'm trying to kind of think about 3 different lines here at the moment. I'm just trying to get this little... Here we go. Anyway, I got this lovely email then from Tracy, which I want to read out to you. So here we go. She says, Colette, I can't thank you enough for your openness and generosity the other day. You went above and beyond with your time and graciousness. We so enjoyed our time at Bealtaine Cottage. The fruition of the relationship you have cultivated there is evident and very inspiring. The day after we left, we went to Slieve in Erin, which was exquisitely and hauntingly beautiful. I felt as though I never wanted to leave. It was so nice. Sorry, just get this. It was so nice to have your book in hand as a companion there. In fact, I had just read what you wrote about the Morrigan when we shockingly came upon a deforested area on the mountain. We stopped the car and stared in some disbelief. When along she came, in raven form. She flew down onto a stump and looked at us as if to say, "Do you see? This too is a battlefield, and the goddess will triumph, but not before she is torn and left with these scars." She emphasised the message you left with me. Create, connect, grow, be authentically human, release your inner goddess and unchain the goddess in the natural world around you. Thank you, Tracy. Now that doesn't surprise me, because you see, something that I thought of this morning, because my dreams can be quite vivid, and especially when there's a full moon. And it wasn't quite full last night, but it was getting there. So there was a lot of energetic power. And people who taught this, I challenge you to look at the oceans of this world and ask yourself what force moves those oceans twice a day, backwards and forwards. It is the moon. And we're governed by the moon. Women especially are governed by the moon. But anyway, I digress. So I was having this dream last night, and I woke up this morning and there was a lot of vivid images that I had to reconcile my mind to. Because sometimes I get what I can only now describe as messages, and they're not messages that I can just ream off, and say, oh yes, and this person spoke to me. They're feelings, they're deep, deep feelings I'm left with. But this deep feeling that I was left with, as I was then boiling the kettle to make my coffee, I remembered something. And you see, this is how all these signs work. Because my grandmother always said, Colette, look for the signs as you go through life. They're all around you. You see, and we make life so complex and so complicated and so ridiculous that we see very little. And we don't allow ourselves to feel that much either. So I woke up and this feeling was there. And as I was making the coffee, I remembered. And I remembered as a little girl. Now it was sometime around the time I was about 11 years old, because I just sat this incredibly difficult exam that I actually passed and won a scholarship into a really good school, a grammar school as it was called then. It still is actually. So I was about 11 years old. It may have been before the exam, because I think that exams causes great anxiety. And for some reason or other, I had gone away up over the fields, because we lived just on the edge of town in a little sort of what can only be described as a ghetto. Rows and rows of little terraced houses, and very impoverished, but not impoverished in spirit. That's really important. And I went up over the fields, and it must have been during the summer. Yeah, because of course the exam would have taken place around about June, May or June. And I remember distinctly laying down on the side of the hill, on the grass, and looking up at the sky, and realising that the earth was spinning. And as I lay and I looked at the sky, it seemed to spin faster and faster. And I remember spreading out both my arms and holding on tightly to the grass on either side of me, holding on as though I was going to fall off. And that was my very first connection with the incredible force upon which we lived. And at that time, of course, I lived upon her. I was almost scared of her, because nobody talked about her. Nobody talked about the great mother, the earth. My grandmother did at times, but it was overtaken by religious dogma that, of course, can make us fear so much. I say can, doesn't always do that. But, so I remembered this morning, and I was filled with awe. I was actually filled with awe, just remembering, and I remembered it so vividly, because I remembered the feeling of lying on the side of the hill, knowing that the earth was spinning. And we're not supposed to be too aware of that, but the earth does spin incredibly fast, and I knew how fast it was spinning that day, because it really frightened me and excited me at the same time. And here I am, 62, and I've kept that image in my head, and not just the image but the feeling. And here's a little fella who just says, "Mum, all I want you to do is throw this silly sausage down the path for me." So here we go. Silly sausage away. It's interesting, isn't it? You know, when I'm thinking otherworldly things, Jack gets very playful. One last throw, Jack. You and your silly sausage. Right, we'll kind of pretend we'll throw it over this way, and we'll throw it down that way instead. Right, well, I think it's time to go in and make a cup of tea and load up my video. So there we go, just another little ramble, the ramble of life. It's interesting, isn't it? You know, weaving all this stuff together. That's something we all need to take time out to do. Time out in whatever form. Doesn't matter whether you're, you know, sitting in a tea shop or driving in your car. Just to have that silence around you, you know, where you're not jabbering on with something else. And having that time just to kind of consolidate your thoughts. We each of us have a lifetime of thoughts and experiences inside of us, and we very rarely take the time to start weaving all those beautiful experiences, and some of them not so beautiful, but most of them very beautiful. We very rarely take the time to weave that into our own tapestry, and that's something that helps us to understand what this is all about. Not that we'll ever get to the end of it. Well, not in our human form anyway. But amazing, isn't it? So blessings to you all. Blessings. Oh, and Eric, don't forget to send me your mom's name.